A good night of Shabbos. Just to go a little deeper into the 3 weeks, what it is that we are. Let's identify the feeling, identify the confusion, and by simply aligning the self with a deep desire of what's pulling, then automatically it aligns. When we are pulling from, we can throw a ball, you can throw it from your hands, or you can align yourself with inner strength, with an inner flow, and then that is when it really connects, and it's a way more powerful. It can go much further, and it reaches the destination. What happened was there was a shvira, there was a brokenness. The vessels broke, which means that imagine a puzzle that is put together. It's a picture, and then the puzzle breaks. And once it's broken, when you look at it, you can't really see what the picture is, and you wouldn't even know where to begin. You can't align with the picture, with the image. Just imagine if you have a picture, a graphic on the computer. It's a picture, but then if you turn it into if it pulls out, if you zoom out, and the pieces become apart from each other, there is a certain there is a pull to try to figure out what is it that I'm looking at, but you can't connect to it, and that causes a certain level of despair, which translates into an anxiety. Going into making more personal, we want something, and my desire of what I want, but what's coming in, what I'm connecting to, if I can't make it happen, I want to connect to it, I want to pull it together, I want something, I want to buy a house, I want a business, I want to be in connection, relationship. But as I'm wanting and I can't make it happen, that causes pain. When a person is calm, when a person is, everything is good, and you're in conversation, you listen to something, you hear one thing. But if the person is not having a good day, it can be a car passing by, or it can be a simple good morning, and it will agitate. Because what I hear, I'm listening to it from a different place. I'm far away from what's being transmitted. When we had the Beis Hamikdash, this Mikdash was a centerpiece, a power generator that transmitted light, energy. It was a perfect alignment. All the kalim, everything was to such level of perfection that if something was off, the slightest mashi, even if by doing the keteris, we're talking about a measurement, if somebody messed up that measurement, or if somebody imitated that exact measurement, there was kares, there was chayav misa. What does it mean, kares? It wasn't a punishment. It was that the person receiving, bringing down the energy and the light, it wasn't aligned, and then it would cause an explosion of the vessel, of the tzenoris, the conduits that were pulling down that energy. If a kohen did a karban and he had a different machshava, if machshava wasn't there, it wasn't aligned, then that was tameh, and it could have even been chayav misa. Now, once again, the punishment, this is not a punishment, it's just a matter of fact. Especially when we're dealing with such high voltage that is beyond what makes sense. It was a different type of connection that we were receiving from, transmitting from. So the slightest level, if a person flies at 30,000 feet and or 70,000 feet, the slightest movement will cause an explosion. After the Churban Beis Hamikdash, the pieces, the whole puzzle fell apart, and it's all over the place. It's pulling, it's pushing, and imagine just there's a lot of these pictures going around of these images of olive base that are just flying around all over. So everything is letters, everything is oisius, and now that these letters, the main vessel was broken, that means that everything that we are pulling from, we are all a part of that. We have the letters from within, and everything that we're pulling, we're trying to connect. There's no alignment, it's a misalignment. And not only is there a misalignment, there's tremendous pain that comes with that. We're not receiving what we need to receive. We're not getting that fixed. It's not hitting the spot. And B, we don't even know what we want. There is anxiety, there is low energy, which is depression, confusion, headaches, and food. All that is, we're looking for the wrong, and then we're feeding that level of confusion, and which means that we're empowering the confusion. So that was the Churban Abayis. That was the Churban Beis Hamikdash. The first thing is by understanding, by putting things into perspective. Putting things into perspective is to align with the pain that we are experiencing, which means that we know that tzaddikim zam geklukt auf Churban, and they really felt the tzar Shechina, but for us, we don't know what that means, because we're living in a physical world, and I can't connect to the fact that there is no Beis Hamikdash, that I'm not in Eretz Yisrael. But really what's happening is that we are feeling it in a way more powerful way than the tzaddik felt it, and that is Mokom Shebal Tshuva Omed Ein Tzaddikim Gebirim Cholim Lamed. Where a Baal Tshuva, somebody that is in brokenness, once you return to self, it's a way more powerful experience than the biggest tzaddik, literally the biggest tzaddik, because they can't reach the levels that a Baal Tshuva, somebody that is in brokenness, can reach. Why? Because if somebody's being pulled, gravity pull in a wind tunnel, somebody's being pulled by something that a fan that pushes, that pulls, let's say, at 100 miles per hour, and when that lets go, when that shuts off, you will fly 10 feet. But if you're being pulled by 1,000 pounds of pressure, pulled from in both directions, and remember, the more you're being pulled, the more the other side is pulling you back, right? So there's a yin yang. But in this point, the pull in the negative force is way stronger than the positive force, because it went up higher, it went back to source. So the gravity pull is way stronger now. Now when that 1,000 or 2,000 pounds of pressure shuts off and it lets go, you're going to fly all the way into Ein Sof. You're going all the way to the end. And what is the end? The end is who you really are. You're going back to, it's like, these sticks that the springs. You pull, and then you go flying. So the more pressure there is, the higher you're going to be flying and jumping over the fence. The more you pick up speed to hop over the fence, the further you're going to fly. So the first thing is to bring it back to source. Tshuva, a Baal Tshuva means Tashev Ka, going back to the Yud K, to the Yud and the He, which is going back to your source, going back to who you are. And the first thing to do is, we're all occupied in conflict. We are distracted in conflict, so which means that there is a gravity pull, there is a void, there is an angst, there is a strong, anxiety because we're not where we need to be. You're not in your comfort zone. And that was hijacked by Klippa, which is that I'm trying to look for a reason for that pain. I'm trying to rationalize that pain, which is a relationship and feeling all types of judgments, harshness, and it shows up in a place, the closest ones around us, because they're the closest to us and they're the most, what I can see. Remember, whatever I see is what I give birth to. By simply, first of all, to recognize that the pain that you are feeling, the pain that we are experiencing, that is Tsar of Golos HaShchina. That is Shchina. What we're experiencing is Shchina. We're feeling the pain of lack of being home, of lack of being in my comfort zone. Yerushalayim, Eretz Yisrael, then Yerushalayim, then Kodesh Kodeshim, which is the Kesser. By recognizing that that's really my pain, then you go back home, you find yourself in your center line. And once you go back to your magnetic field, to your center line, as to who you are, your vibration of the pain that I'm feeling is really not the person around me, not the people around me. It's all within me. It's my desire to be aligned, my desire to know, my desire to be in connection. By simply doing that, the opposite pressure lets go, because it has nothing to lean on. You're not giving it any action. You're not feeding it. You're, instead of fighting for what you want, go inside and find who you are. Going inside and finding who you are. By finding who I am, I'm finding my chevel, my center line, the Kav HaYosher, connecting to your neshama, connecting to your soul. That is Binyan Beis HaMikdash, and our job is in the 3 weeks to start building the Beis HaMikdash. Your Beis HaMikdash, your peace. And that is Matas Maseh, which is this week's Parsha, which is, Matas means your shevet, your strength, your stick. Where do I stand? Putting it in, get grounded into, putting a stick into the ground, and like, this is where I am, or this is my tribe, this is where I belong. And what helps us and what's directing us into finding that grounding is Maseh, is the travel, is all the journey that we're doing. The journey that we're taking is to direct me, to guide me. It's my GPS, it's the compass to show us where the center is. Finding my center line. And from there going into, we have Chazak, which is giving us strength. Another thing is that Shabbos Mevarchim is, we say Tehillim. That's what we do. Tehillim is letters. It's billions and millions and unlimited combinations of letters, tzirufim. By simply saying the words, you don't need to know what you're saying. It's poetry. You don't need to understand what you're saying. By simply saying the words, surrendering to just taking on, and as much as you can say, you're giving yourself, you're taking now, you're saturating the negative force with all these oisias, all these vessels, and we're all letters, but we're in broken letters right now. We're in broken oisias. By saying the words, it's like pouring water onto flour, and if you didn't pour enough water, it crumbles. It's not connected. It's not in oneness. By adding more letters to it, you're adding more water. And as long as we're still here, there isn't enough letters that we can. It's not like you're going to overwater that the flower. Have an awesome Shabbos, and yeah, we're moving along. Good Shabbos.